Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and joining me is LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are your hosts. We're broadcasting live every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern here on the blogtalkradio.com network, bringing you some of the best golfers, teaching professionals, and entrepreneurs helping to elevate women's golf. We're so glad you decided to join us this morning, so grab your coffee and let's get started. All right. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us here live on the Women of Golf Show. I'm, again, Ted Odorico, and right alongside, of course, each and every week is Legends Tour player and LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are your hosts here on the Women of Golf. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning, Ted. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Had a little bit of rain here. Not going to complain about the weather because we've needed it, but it's been a pretty decent couple of days, so I'm not going to complain. Very excited this morning, Cindy. We're going to have a returning guest to start things off. Lauren Coughlin's going to be joining us here in just a moment. She is the defending champion of this week's PHC Classic on the Symetra Tour, which is taking place up in Milwaukee. Actually, the tournament starts on August the 9th and runs through to the 11th. But this will be her third time that she's joined us on the show. She joined us last year when she won the event in August, and then she came on as a runner-up to the Sky Golf Championship a little bit earlier in this season. So we're glad to have her back. And then a little bit later on, we're going to have a young lady fresh out of university, actually, Winthrop University in South Carolina. And she's an aspiring golf professional. Her name is Chelsea Dantonio. She's going to be joining us here in the second half. So very, very excited. Looking forward to this morning's show. But first, I want to, on a sad note, would like to just read a brief statement on behalf of Cindy and I and our guests. Obviously, there's been some recent tragedies here in the United States, as most of you, I'm sure, are aware if you're watching and following the news. And we would just like to express our deepest condolences to the family and friends of both of those events from this past week's shootings that took place in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. And we would just like to let you know that all of you are in our thoughts and prayers as we continue to move through this tragedy. And we just want to let you know that you're in our thoughts. So very, very sad news to start the show off, unfortunately, but I just felt it was important to make a statement of some kind with that respect. So on a different note, as I mentioned, we've got a great show. And we're going to start things off with our first guest, Lauren Coughlin. Let me just remind everybody a little bit about her, and then Cindy will bring her on to the show. Lauren, as I mentioned, is the runner-up, if you will, or sorry, the winner of last season's 2018 PHC Classic on the Symetra Tour. She's a 26-year-old native from Charlottesville, Virginia, graduated from the University of Virginia, and competed primarily on the LPGA in 2018. She's two-time All-ACC selection who won the 2017-18 ACC individual title to capture Player of the Year honors. Again, she was first-time winner last season at the PHC Classic, which earned her exemption into the Evian Championship, and a runner-up at the 2019 Sky Golf Championship. And she's here to talk a little bit about this week's event, which again is the PHC Classic, as the defending champion. So, Cindy, let's welcome our very special guest to start things off today, Lauren Coughlin.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yeah.
We're excited to have you back, and this is, as I was saying to Cindy and obviously to you before we went live, this is a three-peat for you. This is the third time you've been on our show, so we're very excited to have you back. Let's talk about, if we could, Lauren, just to start things off, if you wouldn't mind just taking us back last season to when you actually won this particular event, and then we're going to talk about some things as we go along here in the conversation about how you're preparing for this year. So talk about a little bit, remind the folks that maybe didn't tune in last year and are tuning in for the first time, how the tournament went last year and how you sort of finished up.
Yeah, so last year I played, like you said, primarily on the LPGA. And I kind of was just going to play the Milwaukee event, one for the Evian qualifier, and then two just to kind of get get going for the last 4-week stretch that I had on the LPGA because I didn't get to play in the Scottish or the British. And so I had a long couple weeks off. And so I went into it, like I said, just hoping to see where my game was and get everything going for the last little stretch because I really needed to play well. And actually, I remember about 2 hours before my tee time, I called my husband and I was just crying because I just did not want to be there. I was really upset that I had to be here and that I wasn't at home and I hadn't been playing well all year, so I was just not in a good headspace. And he just kind of told me to chill out and it's just golf, just go play. And I ended up shooting 5 under and
Wow.
the first round, and so after that I kind of chilled, like I said, chilled out, and then went on to shoot another good score the next day, and then came from behind and won. Shot 6 under the last day and came from 3 shots back to win, which was really cool. And I have my same caddy, so I had a volunteer caddy for me last year, and he's going to be on the bag again this year, so it'll be fun.
Very good.
Wow.
It's interesting that, it's interesting, Lauren, that you mentioned, kind of not being in that mindset, because Cindy and I, Cindy, you and I have talked about this many, many times on the show about, sometimes getting into, a place, if you will, in your mind to prepare for an event. It's not just about physically hitting good shots and learning to navigate around any particular course, but it's also having the right mindset as well. So, obviously your husband, kudos to him for doing a good job of getting you to pull up your bootstraps and get out there and play. But just walk us through a little bit. You kind of gave us a clue. You said that, you just weren't playing at your best and you just really were not in a good frame of mind. And really, to be honest, and you're being very candid and honest, you didn't really want to be there. You just knew that you just weren't feeling your best and you didn't want to be there. So what happened after that conversation that you kind of flicked that switch? Just tell a little bit about that, because I think that's important for the listeners to understand.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, exactly how it happened, or if it was just kind of he was able to get me to just not think about it, and he also just kind of said, worst case, you play bad, and, who cares? And so I guess he just kind of framed it in a way to where I was able to relax and not really care what happened, instead of worrying so much about if I was going to play well, if I was going to hit a good shot, if the putt was going to go in, and just not worrying and not trying too hard. Because there's definitely, at least I know for me, I can definitely try too hard and I get tense and then just bad things happen. The putt, I won't make the putt because I'll be too tense and I can't feel it, or that my swing, I'll get too tight and I'll put a poor swing on it instead of being loose. And so I guess it just helped me really just relax is probably what really happened. And then like I said, I played really well, and I made it was one of those weeks where I could just kind of tell it was my week. Just things were going my way. I chipped in, I think, 3 times that week. I holed out for eagle one day. I made 4 or 5 30-footers. It was just there's things that I could just kind of tell it was my week. So.
Right. So I guess it would be safe to say you're glad you stuck around.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so this off season, I think we talked about it in March. I started working out and lifting in January, and I've obviously played better this year, and so but I think all of it, I think, is because I'm taking care of myself physically, and I think that is helping me mentally stay in a good headspace no matter what. And
Right.
I'm enjoying it a lot this year, whereas the past couple of years I haven't enjoyed it. I still miss home because I am a homebody, but I'm not miserable leaving home after a couple of weeks. I'm enjoying it a lot more.
Right, and again, it all goes to the mindset. Cindy, I know you've got some questions as well for Lauren. Go ahead.
I've got a few questions. Where is home, Lauren?
So my husband and I went to University of Virginia, and so we still live there in Charlottesville. He works for the university, so that's still home base for us.
Perfect. And was Kim Llewellyn your coach?
She was, yep. And she's still my swing coach and her husband. And then I work a little bit as well with Kevin Kirk out of Houston.
Awesome. You've got great people. I absolutely love Kim, and I don't know Kevin, but I know his wife, Susie Redmond, and she's a really good friend of mine who played on the LPGA Tour for a long time, so I love them. So let me ask you this, because we've got a young girl coming on the show after you who just graduated from Winthrop University. She was an all-conference player. You know, she was good. She is, but she's kind of a homebody as well, and we teach a lot of kids. So, and the fact that I played, so I know this, some of the biggest pressure is from other people. Do you, have you felt that? Like, oh, what's wrong? Why aren't you playing better? Oh, you missed a cut. And so I couldn't stand that when I came home. In fact, I told my mom one week, I said, look, I'm coming home, but I don't want to hear it. It's Be Nice to Cindy week, because no one's trying to play bad, right? So they made me a T-shirt, and because, so can you talk about that a little bit? And clearly you've gotten over it because you're having more fun now, and you are your only inventory, so you really have to enjoy playing golf and competing, or this is not the life for you, right?
No. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think, I mean, there's still kind of some, I think my family, I've been very fortunate. It's been, like, my husband, he's never been like, he's always been like, I don't care how you shoot, like, as long as you're going and putting in good effort and working hard, like, I don't care. He more just cares about that I'm putting in the effort. And my parents, like, I love my dad, but he can sometimes be like that as well. Like, you know, I'll be going over my round and he's like, well, why'd you do that? I'm like, well, I didn't mean to three putt. I didn't try to do that. I didn't try to hit it left when I knew I couldn't hit it left.
Right.
But I mean, I think they've all, again, seen the progress that I've made in taking care of myself and the progress that I've made mentally, and I have been playing well, so I think it's easier when you're not, you know, there's not much you could say when you are shooting under par most rounds, like, oh, you could have gotten a few more, but it was a good round. So, I don't really know exactly what I did. I mean, I really just think it came down to, I also came to terms with, yes, this is my job, but at the end of the day, I get to play golf for a living. And, like, yes, it's hard being home, and yes, I travel a lot, and, you know, it's a lot of work, but I mean, at the end of the day, I get to play golf, and I get paid to do it, and that's pretty awesome.
Well, good for you, because I got news for you. Don't get a real job. And once you're a gypsy, you're always a gypsy. I love nothing more than getting in the car with Alan Miller, because he played on the men's tour and I played on the ladies tour. So people are like, why aren't you flying? I said, because I want to get in the car and drive. Shut up. I'm used to this, right? So good for you. Go ahead, Ted.
Thank you.
Very, very good. Something else I picked up on just from a little bit earlier this morning in the conversation, you mentioned about, I remember you talking about it in March, that early in the season, in January, I believe, that you started sort of a bit of a workout regimen, if you will, that you want to feel better physically as well as mentally. Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing up to now, and how is it sort of working out? Are you obviously noticing changes, not just only within your body, but just how you feel inside as a result of this sort of exercise regimen?
Yeah, so I'll work out about, I'd say at least 5 to 6 days a week. I'll lift lift weights, probably 3 to 4 of those, and then maybe do a little cardio the other days, or more like circuit stuff the other days, just to really get the heart up. But yeah, I mean, I'm still doing it even in tournaments and like tournament weeks. I still go, and even like before or after rounds, I'll go and do a little something, not anything obviously like physically taxing, but more just kind of getting my muscles and my body going, because I never really did that before, and just kind of helps you get warmed up and loosened up before you go and start actually warming up. And I've definitely noticed a difference. I mean, I think at this point last year, I probably already would have started losing distance on my clubs, you know, just because it's a long season, and your body just gets tired. It's grueling, and I think that's the biggest difference. Like, you know, I haven't lost any distance. I'm still able to. I mean, I'm pretty easily able to play, you know, three to four in a row, which I definitely don't think I would have been able to do last year. I mean, I did them, but I wasn't making the cut, so I was only playing like 2 days, not 4. And yeah, I think that's the biggest. And then I think also mentally it's helping, just, you know, keeping me in it, and it's kind of a little bit of an escape. Like, I always feel better after I go, and I feel worse if I don't, especially just like, wow, I can't believe I didn't go today or whatever. But the hardest part about it has been we kind of go to some really small places in the country, and so I don't always have the best gym to work out at. So there's definitely been some stops that have had better places, but yeah, I've been going. I'm still going strong.
Well, that's fantastic. And you know, I think, yeah, and you got to sometimes improvise, you know, and I don't want to date myself here, but when you don't have a good gym around, that's nothing like a couple of good soup cans, you know, for substituting for weights, or you know, one of these, you can, at any store you can get some of these, you know, these tension bands. I forget what they call them now, but that you can use to do different exercise and things like that. And I'm sure, Lauren, you probably have noticed too your energy levels. You know, you said you're not really doing a super regimented workout that's, you know, going full bore, but it's mainly to help warm up and get the muscles moving and that. But I'm sure that you've noticed mentally and your energy levels have certainly increased since you've been doing this early in the year, correct?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I don't think I would be still going strong, you know, three tournaments in and be as, you know, feel as good as I do. I'm starting to see, you know, everything is kind of getting tighter as the year goes on, and so I'm trying to find, like, I went to a chiropractor for the first time like 3 weeks ago. Didn't love that, and so now I'm starting to try to do, like, get a massage on my off weeks, and I did like that a lot, just because as the season goes on, you know, everything, it does take a toll, and so I'm just trying to feel as good at the end of the year as I did at the beginning of the year. That's my goal.
Yeah, I think, you know, and I imagine there's been some, maybe, quote me if I'm wrong, but some nutritional changes as well. You know, sometimes when you work out, you feel like you want to eat a little bit better, not saying that you don't eat well, but, you know, sometimes you want to make sure you're eating the right things and taking the right fuel in your body to help. Otherwise, sometimes that exercise is for naught. So let's talk about a little bit, and Cindy wants your input as well, but let's talk about the tournament coming up. As I mentioned, it's going to be taking place this week, starting the 9th through the 11th in Milwaukee. What are you doing specifically to prepare for this week's event?
Yeah, so today I got into town yesterday. Got all checked into my hotel and everything. I was actually supposed to split a room with Sydney Clanton, and she ended up winning the Dow, you know, a couple of weeks ago, and so she's not sure, which is kind of
that
funny.
Little brat.
I know. And I texted her like right after she won, and she texted me the next day and was like, yeah, think, if you can find someone else, that would be great. If not, I'll still pay my half. But I was like, what do you mean you're not going to skip the Scottish Open and come play in Milwaukee? But no, I mean, I'm super happy for her. She's awesome. But yeah, so that's what I checked in my hotel yesterday, worked out, I'm in a residence inn, so I got a little, kitchenette so I can cook a little bit, went to the grocery store. Today I will practice a little bit. Paul, the equipment and club
I
repair
love
guy.
Paul. Tell him Cindy said hi.
Yeah. So he's in town this week for us, so I will be going
Yay.
and getting all new grips and my lies and lofts checked. Since when he's on LPGA, I don't really ever have to worry about it. But my grips, they've been needed, so I'm very happy that he's here. Tomorrow I'll be in the Pro-Am, and then 18-hole Pro-Am, and then Thursday I might play about 9 holes and then practice a little bit, and then Friday it'll be go time.
Awesome.
Very good. Cindy, go ahead.
So I see that your driving distance is not as good or great or as large as some of these girls who hit a 270, 280, but straight is far, and you are straight. So you're in top 10 in fairways driving accuracy. So tell us, does that wear on you not being long, or is it like, I'm just fine, don't worry about it, I've got it, I'm in the fairway?
I mean, yes and no. I think our driving stat is like the distance is a little skewed because it's only 2 holes and 2 holes around that we do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm definitely not long, but I also wouldn't say I'm short. But I mean, I can at least on Symetra. I mean, it's not a huge difference because, like you said, I'm always in the fairway, so I'm always having a very good shot into the green usually. And the only real disadvantage is like not really being able to get to most of the par 5s and 2, which out here we play them a lot shorter, I would say, or not a lot, but on LPGA, at least I know last year, I mean, good luck getting to any of the par 5s week in and week out, at least for me. But out here, I can definitely get to usually at least 1 a week, which is nice. And if I'm not getting to them all, I'm getting within, 30 yards of them, which is still just as good.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
I really do take pride in that. Like, I can hit driver whenever I want because I'm going to hit it where I want to hit it. And so on some holes where girls are having to lay back with 3-wood and stuff, I'm able to still hit driver because I'm going to hit it where I want to hit it, which I think is
awesome.
Which is nice, which is a big advantage as well.
Totally agree. So do you ever stay in private housing?
Yes, I do. About half and half. This year, I'd say I'd probably stay in hotels a little bit more just because my husband travels for work as well, so he's let me use some of his points some weeks so I didn't have to pay. Next week we're going to Battle Creek, Michigan, and I'm staying in host housing with a friend of mine, Allison Emery. And I stayed in it a couple other times, so I just can't think of when.
Cool. That was hard for me because I didn't have enough money to stay in a hotel every week. And after a while, when you don't know people, I mean, it wears on you like, oh, hi, yes, here's my resume, where's my room? And you hate to be a creep because you have to appreciate that they're allowing you, they're opening up their home for you to stay there. But on the other hand, it was like, I just like to be alone.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I feel as well. It's like, at least I know when I get home from the golf course, I just kind of want to go and decompress and relax and not have to be super social. And when you stay in someone's home, I mean, like you said, they're opening their home for you for a week, and so if you need to, at least to a certain extent, chat with them and answer any questions they have, get to know them a little bit. And it is, I know for me, emotionally and mentally taxing to do it.
Agree.
But it does
let me let me ask you, just as we get ready to close out here, you obviously know the course that you're going to be playing on this week. What did you learn from the last time that's going to help you prepare you a little bit? And I'm speaking specifically about the course because you're familiar with the holes a little bit better than you were the first time you played it. So is there anything you're going to do differently this year based on your knowledge of the course that maybe you didn't do the first time around, or are you just going to sort of stay the course and just play your game?
No, I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good game plan, I think. You really have to take advantage of the par 5s out here. I think there's 5 of them, and, 2 of them are pretty good, reachable, and the other ones aren't too bad. And so you really, really have to take advantage of that, get birdies and eagles if possible. But I really love the greens, and so I'm looking forward to putting on them again. They're quick and very true, and they roll really nicely, and so I'm really excited about that. Although it downpoured here last night, so I don't know how much roll we'll be getting, but last year we got a lot of roll in the fairways, which was also nice. It's also really cool, this is where Tiger played in his very first PGA Tour event, the Hello World. Mm-hmm. So that's really, really cool that I won at the course that I'm a huge fan of his. So that was really cool that I won on the golf course that he had his PGA debut as a pro.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's fantastic. It's interesting that you mentioned that because we've had a few people on the show from the Symetra Tour, and it's interesting that there are quite a few that feel the same way that you do. We ask them from time to time, who they're sort of not necessarily idol, but who they really look up to in the golf profession. A lot of them have said Tiger Woods, which is really interesting. They didn't pick somebody from necessarily the LPGA in that. So it's obviously he's had a big effect on the game in general, but obviously in women's golf as well. So it's very interesting that you say that. Well, Lauren, we want to thank you for joining us this morning again. And go out and win the event, and you can come back on next week as our special guest as the winner of the PHC Classic. So good luck this week. Have fun, and get lots of rest, and just enjoy the event. Have fun.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Have a great week, honey. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.
Yep.
Bye.
All right. Those are first special guest, Lauren Coughlin, winner of the 2018 PHC Classic, and about ready to, in a few days, to try for a repeat of that event. So we want to wish her all the best. Cindy, before we bring on Chelsea, let's just very quickly remind the people of something that you want to make them aware of, and then we'll play your promotional.
It's funny, if you stop and think about all the sponsors of all the tournaments on the LPGA Tour, the PGA Tour, the whatever the new web.com tour is, Corn Ferry Tour, the Symetra Tour, everybody, businesses sponsor golf events. And listen to this little promo of why.
Everyone knows business deals are made on the golf course. Knowing how to act is just as important as how you hit it. As an LPGA professional and corporate trainer, I offer workshops, seminars, and executive retreats to teach you how to do both. From the back nine to the boardroom, improve your team from the inside out, or Golf 101 for executives might be the perfect fit for your team. Maybe it's time to make some deals on the course. For more information, go to cindymillerinc.com.
And you definitely want to do that. Visit cindymillerinc.com after the show, and all of her contact information is there, and you can reach out to Cindy personally. A great opportunity there for a lot of you business folks out there. All right, Cindy, we've got a very special guest coming up now, Chelsea Dantonio. I'll tell you a little bit about her, and then we will bring her on and begin the second half of the Women of Golf show. Chelsea recently graduated from Winthrop University out in South Carolina, where she obtained her bachelor degree in healthcare management, all while playing on their Division I women's golf team. She was a very consistent top player, qualifying and playing in all of the tournaments. She was all-conference in the Big South Conference as a freshman and senior. She was also the Big South Golfer and South Freshman of the Week twice throughout her career. In addition, she won 2 collegiate tournaments and finished runner-up twice. She also had a school record of 19 top 15 finishes at Winthrop, and she was 4-time runner-up in the New York State Amateurs events. Recently shot a career low of 65, which was a state and course record, and currently ranked within the top 800 women's amateurs golf rankings, and is working towards a professional golf career with none other than her swing coach, Alan Miller, who we know very well. So let's welcome Chelsea Dantonio to our show, Cindy.
Good morning, dear.
Hello. How are you?
We're doing well. So, Ted, just to tell you, Chelsea is volunteering this morning at her club, Craigburn, which is hosting the New York State Men's Amateur Championship, and I'm caddying today for our son Jamie, so we're grateful that they let her get away from her job.
Yeah.
So what do they have you doing today, dear?
So basically yesterday I was doing registration. I was there starting at 8, and I didn't finish until like 5, and then we stayed after an 8, kind of picked out a game plan for today. Today I'm still signing people in who didn't register yesterday, and the caddies. So it's a lot of work as I see like all the behind the scenes, but it's cool to be like on the other side. So it's interesting to see.
So you're having fun.
Yeah. A lot of good people are out here too, and everyone's nice so far. So, and the course is in beautiful condition, and the weather's perfect. So, it's a good little gig I got.
Well, good. Are they paying you?
Yeah, they are.
Oh my goodness. Well,
yeah.
what the heck?
I got a good gig. It's a good gig.
All right, Ted, go ahead. Talk to her.
That's fantastic. Well, Chelsea, thank you for joining us this morning, and we appreciate those involved in the event for letting you slip away, as Cindy said, so we appreciate that. Let's talk about just a couple of things here first before we get into a little bit more detail. But when did you start playing golf, and sort of how did you get into golf?
So I started probably playing golf when I was around 9. My dad would just kind of take me to the range with him. He's a big golfer as well. He's probably listening right now, so I'm going to give him a little shout out. But he was the one that got me into golf. And Cindy loves this story, how he wouldn't let me go out and actually play holes till I was maybe like 11. He just didn't think I was ready yet. And then that's kind of like when I started seeing Cindy and Alan. And then I just started playing more, and I started liking it, realizing I had somewhat of a talent for the game. And it was just some place that I could like go off and be by myself, be relaxed, and also like bond with my family because we're a big golfing family. So yeah, that's how I got started.
Yeah, you kind of share a similar storyline to myself. My father was very much the same way. So kudos to you, Dad, for doing it right. My father wouldn't let me out play on the big boys course, as he would call it, until he felt I was ready for it. And I think that's the smart way to go. You have to sort of ease them into it. So kudos to Dad for doing that. So as we mentioned in the opening statement, that you're working with obviously Alan Miller and Cindy, I'm sure as well. So what are you currently working on? What have they got you doing and focusing on primarily at this particular moment?
So right now, I just finished tournaments. So now this is like for the next 4 or 5 months, this is where like I'm really going to work on perfecting my swing as much as I can. So we didn't really dive into it too much yet. But right now, like I think our main goal is kind of just trusting the hit and being confident with it. Sometimes I don't like give it my all when I hit it. I just kind of try to just hit it straight, I guess, and I just need to kind of like let it go. I'm sorry, I'm not the best at explaining things. But yeah, just kind of like really like hitting it, getting more power and getting mad at the ball kind of, I guess.
Yeah, you're doing very well, by the way, of explaining it. And yeah, obviously I gathered from that really what they're trying to get you to do is obviously to be a more consistent player, and obviously work on some good ball striking, which of course Alan Miller is famous for. And so I mean that's obviously important. So what do you think? And I'm going to phrase this in such a way, I'll try to explain it because I'm like you. Sometimes I don't always explain things correctly, so I have to repeat myself. What are your current limitations? And what I mean by that is, what areas of your game do you feel are your strengths, and what areas of your game particularly do you think are your weaknesses?
Strengths, I would say usually it's consistency and my mental aspect of my game. Usually most of the time I'm able to bounce back from a bad hole or two. I'd like to definitely improve in my confidence though, and really like believe in myself fully. Weakness, let's go back to strength. I am usually accurate off the tee, so I don't find the rough often, so that always helps. Short game's usually pretty good as well. I like to practice that a lot. Weaknesses, I'd say I need to get a little more distance just to play at that next level. And again, just a little more confidence where like I fully believe in myself and not just, I kind of believe in myself. So.
Yeah, and that comes with time and experience, and that's something that only you can do. That's obviously something you can't teach, is the confidence. That's something that's going to come in time as you become a better and more consistent player. Cindy, go ahead. I have some other questions, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Go ahead. I know you have some thoughts and questions as well.
Did you happen to listen to Lauren while she was on earlier?
I only heard like the last couple minutes. I literally just had a girl fill in for me for like when I'm on the show, so I've been working since 6:30.
So what I want to tell you is that she seems to have the same behavior style as you. So Ted, just so you know, Alan and Chelsea are a lot alike. They're both high S personality styles, which is steady, which is part of the reason that she hits every fairway and she gets it up and down from everywhere. And she's very calm, cool, and collected. She's like the tortoise, which is great when it comes to golf. That behavior style makes the best tour players, which is good. What Alan's trying to get her to do is be a little more aggressive with her hit, which will help her have more speed, which will help her hit it farther. Now, Lauren Coughlin, who was just on, her driving distance is 253.75, which ranked her, I think, 70th or 80th on the Symetra tour, but she's in the top 10 in fairways hit. So Chelsea's going to be the same kind of player as Lauren. She's pretty steady. And again, I think it's important that these kids learn that it's okay for them to be themselves. You cannot try to be someone you're not. So, Chelsea, can you explain what I want to? I guess what I want to say is Chelsea's dad is a lot like me, a competitive control freak, high D, very competitive, aggressive, and Alan is not. And Alan caddied for Chelsea when she shot the 65 course record in the last round of the New York State Amateur. And just to give you an idea of a high S personality, and this is not to mock anyone out, this is for people to learn a lesson. Neither Alan nor Chelsea knew where they stood on the 18th hole And when they finished playing that hole, Chelsea went over to her playing partner and congratulated her because she thought the girl had won the tournament. And Chelsea was tied with her. So they were so entranced in the task at hand that they didn't even realize that. And Alan even said, well, I didn't know how many under we were. All I was doing was helping her focus on the task at hand, hit the shot, let's go to the next one, which is, I wish I could be like that. I said that to my son. We were watching on live scoring, and we were like, oh, my God, she's 5 under, she's 6 under, she's 7 under, she's 8 under. Holy cow, are you kidding me? So, Chelsea, can you talk a little bit about that, of what that round – I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your dad. I love your dad. But what was different – and your dad's the best, but what was different about that round? Did you more focus on the task at hand? Was it just meant to be? Was it magical? Tell us.
Yeah, I think I definitely just focused more on the task at hand. I love my dad, and, I love him caddying for me. He knows my game really well, so I'm not going to take anything away from him in that aspect. But what me and Alan did, he just kind of kept things simple. We just tried to focus on just making good swings. And when you do that, you don't think oh, there's water, oh, there's trees, oh, what if I hit it left, oh, what if I hit it right? So we just kind of simplified things. He would give me a couple little reminders right before I hit, and I would execute it just like how he told me to. I also think sometimes when I play on my own, or I'm hitting on my own and Alan's not around, I probably have a tendency to get out of what we're working on. But when he was there, I was like, oh shoot, can't get away from that. I have to just focus on what we're working on, or he's gonna yell at me. No, he wouldn't yell at me. But
Alan doesn't yell.
No, I know. Maybe he'd just shake his head or something. I don't know. But yeah, and simplifying things and just focusing, which is so hard to do, and not get ahead of yourself in the game of golf. It helped, and I think that's when I play my best golf too. I remember in high school, I was playing sectionals, and I didn't know where me and the girl were at either, and I congratulated her because I thought she won at the end and beat me by 1, but I actually won and beat her by 1, and it's kind of oh, well, Chelsea, maybe if you just worry about how you're swinging it, you'll do better. So.
And that's so true.
Yeah, but it's also really hard to do.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's harder for me than it is for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. Go ahead, Ted.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, Cindy, Chelsea has mentioned many times on the show, of course, as you know, her and Alan have much different personalities. And, Cindy, I know I've heard you mention a few times on the show when Alan's, been there for you that, I'm sure he gets a few looks that because his personality is so different from yours, and I'm sure it's the same in your case, Chelsea, with your dad on the bag. Obviously, he understands your game in that. But do you find it more difficult when you've got somebody whose personality is much different than yours to sort of be that voice in your ear? Do you find it difficult at times and challenging for you to overcome because you are a different personality?
Yeah, definitely. And that's something me and my dad have worked on together over the years, because he is mainly who caddies for me, because he travels with me and everything.
Right.
So he knows that sometimes there's maybe 5% out of 100% of the times when I will get a little high strung and a little anxious myself, but he knows he has to calm me down. And if I hit a bad shot, he has to tell me it's okay, who cares? And when we're able to do that, it's always a better end result. There's a couple times, obviously, where we kind of butt heads a little bit, and the results aren't the best at the end. So we've worked on that, and we've come a long way. So hopefully we can continue doing that, because I need to be a little calm on the course.
Maybe you need to have him wear an Alan Miller mask when he caddies for you on the bag, so that every time you look over, you think Alan Miller is there caring for you. Only kidding, Dad.
Yeah, right.
So let me So let me ask you, because you mentioned about the sort of the mental side of the game a little bit earlier, and this was something that we talked to Lauren Coughlin about earlier in the segment as well. What do you do to find balance, not only in your game but in life as well, that helps you relax and sort of reduce some of that stress? What things do you do, or do you work out to sort of keep yourself not just in shape but just to help you relax and take some of the edge off sometimes? Or what are things that you do in your sort of daily routine or your daily life, if you will? It doesn't even have to be daily, but even weekly, let's say, as an example, that helps that you to achieve that a little bit better.
Yeah, so honestly, my favorite thing to do is just kind of wind down by myself or with my family and like watch a show. That's most relaxing to me at home. I like to be in bed by like 10 nowadays. I have started working out. So working out, unfortunately, is not something I'm the biggest fan of, but I know that's kind of what I have to do if I want to get it to that next level. So I'm trying really hard to find ways of enjoying it. I guess like if I'm like really anxious or tense, I have a couple times like ran on the treadmill. And that does like reduce stress a little bit, but honestly, the best way for me to just relax is just watching a show by myself or with my family. Like I can be outgoing, but at the end of the day, I like to just be a little more introverted, and that's what I enjoy best, honestly.
Yeah, and I think you have to find what works for you. And I think as you get a little bit older, you'll get to understand and know yourself, the inside of you, just as much as the outside. And that helps you with different coping techniques and things like that. It's interesting that you mentioned, because obviously you're much younger than I am, that you go to bed at 10 o'clock at night, which is unheard of for somebody in your age bracket. So I don't know if that's from a result of some good family up. Yeah, I was going to say some good family upbringing, that early to bed, early to rise, so to speak. So what else do you like to do besides? I mean, obviously you mentioned you like to sort of relax, but when you want to have fun, I mean, obviously you can't be out in the golf course all the time as much as you enjoy it, and you want to, take it to that next level. You also have to have some other activities and other things that you enjoy doing in order to find balance in your life. So what are some of the things that you like to do?
So other things I like to do, I like to hang out with my family and friends, a couple close friends. I like to shop. I think that's relaxing sometimes. And I also, like when we're traveling to tournaments, me and my mom especially, we, like after the round and after I'm done golfing, I like to find pet stores because I like to play with the puppies, because I'm not allowed to have a puppy. And I think that's really fun, and it kind of relaxes me as well. That's what I like to do. It's not really an entertaining life over here.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dad's credit card gets a good workout when that happens. So I'm sure he keeps a tighter rein on that.
He appreciates that.
Yeah, especially when you and your mom do maybe some power shopping to relax. So let me ask you one final question, and then Cindy, I'm going to throw it back to you. You obviously want to take this to the next level, and I'm assuming obviously that you want to play professional golf out on the tour. But are you also considering for down the road doing something like Cindy and Alan and actually teaching and giving back to the game that way? Is that something that's also of interest to you, or you at this time you're just more thinking about playing?
Right now, I'm definitely just more focused and thinking about playing. That's all my focus is going to be for the next 4 months. I've thought about teaching and instructing golf. I've actually helped a couple younger girls. It's hard. You don't think it's that hard. You just because they just watch and instruct a little bit, but it's hard. I don't want to be the reason why they hit a bad shot. That's just, I know I wouldn't be, but that's how I would feel. I don't know. It's just something that I've thought of, but I'm not too serious about. But who knows? Everything changes and time changes. I might in the future, but as of now, no. I think I just want to kind of focus more on taking my game to the next level for a bit.
Now, you also, just very quickly, and then Cindy, I'm going to let you take over. You got a bachelor's degree in healthcare management, so obviously that's something that's very important to you as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've always had an interest for the health field. I really don't like blood, so I don't think I could ever actually like perform and be a doctor. Shots are not my thing. So
me neither.
My dad suggested like the business side of the health field, and I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds right. Whether that might be managing like a small health clinic or a hospital one day, that would be huge. Or maybe even medical sales. I think that's really fascinating, like taking medical devices to hospitals and doctors and showing them. I think that would be cool too. So those are like on the back burner, of course, for now, but because golf's my main goal and priority. But yeah, that's what interests me in that field.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not a big fan of needles, and I certainly won't say I'm squeamish when it comes to blood. But I wouldn't have made a good doctor. I think a lot of people would have made it on the operating table if I was holding the scalpel. So, Cindy, you go ahead. I know you've got some other questions as well.
So Chelsea, tell everybody what your plan is for the next year, we'll say. And here's what I'm very what's the word? I'm very happy that you're making a plan and know that you're not ready right now, and you're practicing towards a goal, and it's not an emergency, and it's like, oh my God, I got to get a job, or I got to turn pro. Or so tell everybody what the plan is for the next year.
Yeah, so honestly, if you would have asked me this in like December, I had no idea. But my parents helped me kind of formulate a plan. So what I'm going to do, so I just finished my summer amateur tournaments. We just wanted to play in a couple of those, kind of keep the competition game aspect still there, and travel a little bit. We got to go to some new places, but so now I'm home. For the next 4 to 5 months, I'm going to work with Alan on my swing, like I said, trying to get that where we want it to be and perfect it as much as we can, where I'm really confident in it, and also step up my fitness a little bit. Also going to have to change some eating habits a little bit, get rid of the processed foods that I like. But then in December, I'm actually moving down to Fort Myers, Florida. My grandparents live there. So I'll be staying with them, find a course down there. I'm going to practice down there, obviously, work out down there, obviously, and then play in 4 or 5 big amateur tournaments that we have researched down there. And then when I come back up, once it gets a little warmer up here in Buffalo, I'll still practice with Alan, play a couple more amateur events. I like the Porter Cup. That's one I always look forward to here in Niagara Falls. The New York State again, and then by the end of next summer, I'm hoping that I see my game at the next level or very close and getting to that next level. So then we'll evaluate and see, do we want to do Q School, do you want to do some Symetra tour, like kind of figure out what route I want to go or try. But also next summer, my goal is to get into like 1 or 2 Symetra tours as an amateur status. Like the one in Rochester and then the one in Albany, because those are close by. So that would be my plan for the next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, very good. Very good game plan. Cindy, go ahead.
I don't have anything else. I think she needs to get back to work.
Okay. Yeah, I would.
Do you have anything else?
Yeah, we don't.
Crack the whip on
this kid.
To say don't fall in
just
love.
To say that. Yeah.
No,
exactly.
That's not really like in my priority list right now, so we're good on that.
Yeah, Dad's listening anyway, so that's something he doesn't want to hear right now. He wants her to take it slow, and the right person will come along when the right time. Well, Chelsea, let me just say that it's been a pleasure having you on this morning. It's very interesting. You know, normally Cindy and I get a chance to talk with a lot of professionals that are either starting out or a little further along, or have seasoned veterans off the Legends Tour. So it's very refreshing to get somebody just really out of the gate that's pursuing this career. And I hope you'll come back and join us and kind of keep us posted and update as things progress, and just sort of give us some updates from time to time. We'd love to have you come back on. So as Cindy said, go back to work. We don't want to get you fired or anything. And much continued success, and enjoy your time working with Cindy and Alan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, honey. I'll see you in a little bit.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Chelsea Dantonio, aspiring golf professional. Very, very smart, very with it together. Really has, obviously her parents have done well in helping guide her on her journey, and very self-assured and knows what she wants. I think she's got a great future ahead. What do you think, Cindy?
Absolutely. She's a great kid. They're a wonderful family. Yeah, she's just well-rounded and grounded, and she knows what she's doing, and it's a treat because it's not always the case.
No, especially this day and age, a lot of the younger generation, are struggling to sort of find their way, and more often than not don't, sort of flounder for several years. And she seems to have a good head on her shoulders and a good game plan, and obviously that starts with good parenting, but she's well on her way, and it'd be interesting to follow and see her career. All right, we need to go as well. We've got our day to get started, and we appreciate all of you joining us this morning here in the Women of Golf Show. We hope you enjoyed it. So on behalf of Cindy Miller, I'm Ted Oderico. Thank you for listening and tuning in this morning to the Women of Golf, and we look forward to having you join us again next Tuesday morning here on the blogtalkradio.com network. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, Ted. Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for listening this morning to the Women of Golf Show. Tune in live each week by visiting blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf, or on any of these social media platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Castbox, TalkStream Live, and of course Spotify. If you can't join us live, check out our on-demand section for previously aired broadcasts. To get updates for future shows and upcoming guests, you can follow us on Facebook at Women of Golf. You can also follow me on Twitter at Ted and Buck CEO, and Cindy at Cindy Miller Golf. Please remember to join us next week on the Women of Golf Show. See you next time. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.